special access or managed access program. Now I was looking up Dior, right? And then Dior, I'm really just getting off track. I just want to read about that. So, on Wiki it says some shit called expanded access. Expanded access or compassionate use is the use of an unimproved drug or medical device under special forms of investigational new drug applications or IDE applications for devices outside of clinical trial by people with serious or life-threatening conditions who do not meet the enrollment criteria for the clinical trial in progress. These programs go under various names, including early access, special access, applying for something, get approved for something, you paying for something with your taxes, and even know what it fully does for you. So pretty much, they give it to you, and then as it's going on globally, they can take surveys on the data that they're collecting from the reactions, right? Because it's always going to deal with metaphysics, which is dealing with pathology, chemistry, and biology. But I'm going to say biochemistry because science is the study of life, and life is just magic, right?
Alchemy.
So with
Scientists
magic,
use
you have
alchemy.
your positives and your negatives, right? But if it's not being used in duality, it doesn't spark no light. But that's the thing, they kind of force it because it keeps you in the root, but you're always in the heart. But the man-made emotions keep you.
Alright, so say like you come from love, right? You start from the heart chakra, right? Physically, your heart's like the first organ. Spiritually, heart, green, nirvana. Mentally, higher self. Feel me? So like when you know you come from love, just think you gotta look at the kids because you were once a kid. Like it's not puberty. When you're growing up, it's actually it triggers shit within you because you're in a environment that you know that's uh moving wrong. You start seeing that you've been lied to even from your family as a kid, just for selfish reasonings. Um, and that's when you have to look at yourself sometimes in the mirror to really understand your reflections or things that's connected to you, because it's also a trinity to thinking, which ties into the trinity of your metaphysical body, your light body. It's a trinity to that. You got your physical, mental, plus the sun. Plus the light. Because if your physical and mental is right, then you could absorb the light to your cells for a positive variant. Because at the end of the day, they're doing the science experiment on us. But at the end of the day, if you stay down, you can be your natural self. But at the end of the day, they never let you be your natural self, so it's never going to just be that easy. It might seem like it right now if you're tapping into the energies. Because if you're tapping into the energies, then you can call on the energies and it will come at your demand. When you ground, speak into existence in the heart space. Because if it's not, then that's karma for you. But do it in a heart space when you ground. So these lines are still connected. And either way, the elements is still connected to the cells of you, the atoms of you. Because when you're in the crown, now you're controlling the nervous system, the blood of the body, and the blood of air, representing the black atom, because that's all antimatter does, right? You can use certain elements to create antimatter, but really, the element is us. Um, they've been interfering with the cycle, right? Let's just say with global warming. They're interfering with the people that's indigenous to these lands. So when you ask yourself, why is that pretty much been the two go-tos? The draining the resources is because you are the cycle indigenous ones. You're the 369. And from my studies, is 3693, which the 3 represents the rebirth, right? I think this is why Notre Dame was doing a little 4 count shit. Because really, there's no number greater than 9, but there's a higher interval of that energy that repeats. It just repeats in a higher interval. And really, all of the lower interval, the middle interval, the higher interval, the 1, 3, the 1, 2, 3, and 4, those deal with higher intervals, but is pretty much the same cycle interacting with another cycle. But it's the same cycle, right? Just like 3, all right, 1 through 9, that's one level. Counting at tens, 10 through 90, which is really 1 through 9 if you use numerology. Second interval. Third interval is to the hundreds place, right? The hundreds place is 100 through 900. But if you use numerology, that's 1 through 9. Still, just at a higher interval, right? And then you go to the thousands place. That's when you're entering the 4th level, right? The Christ level or the 12th level, right? Or 12 tribes of Judah type shit, right? Because the 12 actually represents the rebirth, right? Which is kind of like Virgo. So now that we're in December, dealing with 369, and there's no number greater than 9, there is no 1, 2, 3, no 10, 11, 12 month. It just restarts 1, 2, 3. So that being said, where we're at right now in the calendar is September. December isn't till March, and March is until June. So if you remember those dates and just go on with that, then yeah, but really they've been trying to discover the God particle between months July, August, and September, right? Dealing with CERN. That's why it's been kind of like a loop type of thing. But really, their loop is just torn apart. So now the real cycle is being taught. The reason why Tesla probably feel like he's about to die, because someone taught them that shit, right? someone taught him that shit. Not saying who taught him or evil or not, but they're using it for evil. It's really the book of Toph, the book of Seth. And now that I kind of put a little shit together, PH kind of turns into like Seth to a certain extent. Can't remember how. It's on the video how I came up with this shit. I just never thought of it again until now. But like the endings and shit, like Joseph, use all of them Joseph, but Joseph would be Joseph, which would be Joseph, Joseph, Joshua, Yashua. No. Yeah, so it'd be like, no, but it'd be just like little shit tied in between. But they got the book of Toph, right? And they're using it for evil, right? When it's supposed to be for love. They're using it for evil, right? That's how they will pronounce it, evil. I'm not even trying to put no voice on it, but that's what I mean. Vowels are not meant for changing the word up. The vowels is how you pronunciate the word, depending on your accent. So depending on what side of the country you come from is most likely what vowel you're going to use to try to pronounce that English word. And it most likely will come out to another word that's tied into it, because all they did was switch up the word, but the vowel doesn't change up the word. Just like the J never changed up the word for the Y. And how the Y can actually be a vowel. Like, really, alphabets was really used for symbolism. Really, it was used for vocals for me, because we was dealing with vibrations and teaching them about vibrations and everything they act like they confused about ties down to the 369. And while they're interrupting that shit, it interferes with you. And as it interferes with you, they study on it. So all the shit that they're feeding you go against your cycle. All the ways of thinking and perspectives that they're giving to you goes into your imagination, which is stimulated to your brain as a download, right? Depending on your state of mind is how you take on things when you watch it. Because people take on things like that as a learning experience when you're seeing something else. But that's what got people fucked up, because in reality, that learning experience that you're looking at is only summarized into like 2 hours. So they could put a whole fucking year into 2 hours, and then you're expecting some shit like that from a fucking movie within that time. Maybe like 2 weeks, right? Because time isn't really real. Like, time is just a measurement of energy cycles. So it's like these energy cycles you're attached to because you're the sun. You're not supposed to be one sign. You feel me? You're 4 signs. That's what they told you wrong. Because it's 2 parallels of you, 3 alternates, and 4 states. So that being said, it goes back to the 369 dealing with the months. Meaning say I'm a Gemini, right? But I'm an air sign, right? It's two sides of me spiritually and physically. It's the spiritual side, then it's the physical side, right? And then low key is kind of the physical side is kind of like a mental side, but I'm gonna just say spiritual, spiritual realm, like the cosmos, and then we got the physical. The three alternates of me is the other air signs. So let's look up air signs because I feel like there's gonna be like three to four. But I'm gonna hold three. See, so the three air signs is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So me as a Gemini, the other two alternates of me is a Libra and Aquarius. But when I put the Libra and Aquarius together, then is a trinity between my two brains, right? Because what does Gemini represents? Twins. But look, it doesn't represent just me as a single person, right? It represents everyone. So I'm trying to explain this correctly without getting sidetracked, because really I didn't make this video about this shit, but we're going to speak about this because it still ties into the 369. This is just how you properly do explain it. So it's like once you get this in your head, then everything else that you're explaining about astrology makes more sense. I'm not too big on astrology. Really learned it by decoding these niggas with the shit that I've been learning, decoding these niggas on the shit they be talking about, right? Because they be using our names for the shit, and we gave them those names, right? But the thing is, they're still using it to tell you the truth, right? Is for you to awaken yourself and use your discernment. But me, I'm just use common sense because we're Angs, right? Angs and Kators, right? We're Angs, meaning angels, right? So look, alright, so remember, it's two parallels, three alternates, and four states of you, right? It's two parallels. It's two parallels, three alternates, four states of you. So two parallels is like you in the cosmos, and now you in the physical. Now the three alternates of you. Me, for example, again, I am a Gemini, right? Which represents an air sign and the twins, right? But in my eyes, this is how I see it. You see that light? Right. Alright, so that light, right? It would be brighter if it had two bulbs in it. But look, the twins represents the red and the blue suns because when in solar systems they come together to make a trinity, a tri-solar system, because they're supposed to make tri-solar systems. They're not supposed to be in duals. So it's supposed to be tri-solar system, quad solar systems, and so on and so on. Really, it might supposed to be all fucking connected, but been disconnected due to reptilians going around draining resources from well, not reptilians, but probably like, yeah, some of ours, Palladians and other races and shit, like just been going against the whole cycle, trying to break it down because they sit on the outside of it. And And if they can become a part of it, then they can harness more energy throughout the whole shit. So, all right, let's get back. So the two suns is represented by Gemini, right? It's a symbolism of you and your two brains, left side, right side, spirit, soul, coming together to make the Trinity, the light. So that's why you have to have your physical right, because that also do ties with your mental, and then your mental ties to your physical, because it's a time loop, it's an energy loop. When you say time loop, it's energy, so it's a quantum loop, right? It's kind of like dealing with your heart and your root. That's what you're always going to deal with. You're always dealing with your heart, but you can be just going back to the root, and it fucks up your connection because you're using the energy for the wrong things. So now you're stuck in the root and your sacral, right? It's just the alignment has to be aligned with your soul. Your root and your sacral has to be aligned with your soul, because that's sacral energies, right? The root and the sacral is actually a twin itself. So that's even starting, if you're even trying to like be on some spiritual shit, really is just being on some natural shit. It's putting your body back to reverse, because the only reason you were acting like that through puberty is just because your soul was, the bullshit was being attached to your soul, and now you're fighting in the cosmos, which has you fighting more in the physical. Because really, when you're tapped into the cosmos, you're more in contentment in the physical, because you have more guidance of what to do next. But when you're in fear and anxiety, when you're in the spiritual realm, like when you let your body rest or go to sleep, um, that allows, like, you're still in control of your reality. That's like you being in control of your reality here. But to be fully in control of your reality here, is best to be in better in control in your reality in the cosmos. Because just like there's a there's a Black Samurai show. It's like anime kind of on Netflix called Yusuke. It's something about the little girl though. She possessed the power. Yusuke was peeping it and pretty much protect her. Was trying to help her pretty much. But the little girl had to go in a realm to fight. Kinda like Avatar 2. Had to go in a realm to fight. Cause that's how they were fighting against these negative entities. And I'm not going to say completely negative entities, because that's always deals with the red and the white dwarf, right? Unless it's something that's against us dealing with those colors. But I don't think so, because that would make the neuron. Because all they do is come together and create more of a higher light with alignments. Because the alignments is like segments, right? A line with two dots. You feel me? Alright, so Gemini, two suns connect. A lot of Geminis, they say they're crazy, because what is Gemini also represented by the messenger, right? Um, but this is not dealing with just Geminis. This is why I also say, like, if you actually really dealt with people and wasn't judging them for a fucking sign, then you might have learned something, that people act the same fucking way dealing with anxiety, just in different ways. But like, the anxiety is the reason why shit don't even work out. Shit can be working out, but then from past traumas or given perspectives in your imagination will have you bug out. if you're not in a clear mental state or in a clear physical state. But sometimes that doesn't mean that you're wrong, because sometimes you're right. That deals with your intuition. But when you have anxiety, you're not really listening to your intuition, you're battling your intuition. So now you're thinking shit that's not of you, and then the shit that is of you. And then you may not think it is of you because of what you're thinking you should do next. But the whole time, that's when you have to question, knowing that's when you have to know thyself. Is it coming from a heart space? Or is it coming out of hate? Because yeah, you could hurt somebody from saying something, but are you saying it to hurt them? Or is it coming out of love? That's where you should get fucked up. Now that anxiety can push on to somebody else, even if they didn't have anxiety. That's just how shit works. Now you got problems in the house. So it's time for us to get back, men and women, to a clear balance. Because that's metaphysics. That's your body. So if you're realizing that you shouldn't be eating certain things, then that means you need to stay down so you can get back to your regular self. If anything is going to bring you back to your kid-like self or kid-like energy, that's for you feeling like you're getting older, which will bring more memory and shit like that, and more blood flow, more energy to do things. So even if you felt like you couldn't work out, you have more energy to work out because now you're going to have too much energy. The reason you're having energy is because cellular reproduction. Cellular reproduction holds a charge. And if you're in a clear balance mentally, then you're not killing yourselves mentally because you're in more of a heart space. You're not thinking of shit that destroys you. Cells, which is in anything tied to anxiety, it's not of you, it's created. It was a created perspective. Now it's in your imagination, it ties to your X gene, your homologous genes, right? They did it with light because light interacts with cells. Light and color and frequencies, right? That's why you can pick up on the frequency without even looking at it because that's the real version of what they imitated. It's time to get back to shit. Start thinking like you like you're the creator here. Like like Neo, right? He was in his own matrix that he created. And he had to remember himself to get out of it, right? When you detach yourself from what's not of you, you start seeing more clear. But the thing is, you can't see things in two-sided. It has to be three. It's always a trinity to everything. It's three alternates of everything. Kind of like Spider-Man. Three of him came together, made the light. Feel me? And it kind of helped them with their karma at the same time. So that's what it was about. When it comes together, you're getting rid of your karma, right? This is like your repentance because you're admitting to yourself. But even the only way to even get on them levels, you have to admit to yourself without lying because lying is not of you. And then you have to get the thought of using words as a lie because really lying is speaking into existence. Really. So let's get back to what I was saying though, this Gemini though. So that being said, you're not one sign. You're about your four signs represent four different elements, right? Because it's two parallels, three alternates, and four states. So that being said, I'm a Gemini, for example. You're also a Gemini. because it represents the two suns, the left side and the right side of the brain coming together to make the light. That's why Libra and Aquarius is another alternate of Gemini. And Libra, another alternate of Libra is Gemini and Aquarius. And then another alternate of Aquarius is Gemini and Libra, right? The thing is, just like two energies come together, all right, so Gemini really, this ties down to the 369 because Gemini, 4 states will be Virgo. Hold on. Well, not it would be tied to 9, 12, and 3, because it's gonna be 4 different alternates, just because it's gonna be 4 different states because it's 4 different elements. But the 3 alternates of you still is gonna represent your, like, say Gemini is the air sign. It's gonna be 3 alternates of the air sign. So when the two suns come together, then you develop the light. That's like your physical and your mental, your spirit and your soul, because you're a light body being. I don't even know how we got on this shit, but oh yeah, 369, because we're literally in September right now. This isn't December because it's a cycle. It's 1 through 9, then 10 is 1, 11 is 2, 12 is 3. So now that we're like in December dealing with this Christ-like energy, it's the rebirth energy, because when the hurts hit the planet, it happens in fours, but it happens during the week. So you're getting different hurts throughout the week hitting the planet. But say since it happened in fours, it's going to be 4 different energies throughout that 1 week. But then it's going to happen within 4 weeks. So like a month, right? So now that we're back in the solar energy, like they kept naming lunar eclipse. That was just them fucking with CERN again. So whatever you was waiting for with that moon, because I saw that moon. It was bloody red, like the YouTube symbol, dark, and the clouds was black as hell, like black, blacker than this durag. And I was thinking, oh, I saw it. Whatever the Pope was looking for, whatever, cause they're calling on the blood god. I don't know who the fuck that is. I was watching Blade earlier, and it like, I think it's the first Blade. Like, that's a good movie to watch at this time period. From everything you heard in the last 3 years, then watch that shit. Like, it's OD. But, oh, that finally uploaded. That's what I was making this for. Speaks to a worldwide fascination with Las Vegas, Nevada, 2009. Oh yeah, this shit trippy. I'm just everywhere with this. I don't have no structure. I be saying some stuff though. You look like somebody on here. My bad, bro. What I was saying about the astrology thing, it's 2 states of you, 3 alternates, and 4. No, it's 2 parallels, 3 states, and 4. No, I'm tripping. 2 parallels, 3 alternates, 4 states. So like, what's between astrology? deals with the 369. I'm just like I've been trying to show people how 369 is you, the shit that Tesla be talking about, or using the studies, or like Nikola Tesla was doing. He just realized what it was connected to and how it's a cycle, and really is 3693 dealing with time and a compass. I mean, dealing with the clock and a compass is the map of the sun and how the CMEs hit the planet. That's what that was made for, the clock and the sun and the alphabet. Because remember, it's always three alternates and things. And these people that be changing up usually have three different names, right? Just dealing with three different languages if it's dealing with English. So like this whole time, yeah, mind, body, soul. Um, yeah, it's a trinity too. The light body. Um, say like um your conscious and your subconscious, right? I like to, I kind of say like your conscious is like your spirit because it ties to your mood. Like you're in a good mood, bad mood, good spirit, bad spirit. That's what like people usually say when they're asking what's wrong. And then like your subconscious is like your intuition type thing, or what they say is like your junk DNA. It's not junk DNA, it's just junk inside of the DNA because the blood flow is not working like a cycle. You feel me? Because it's a mental thing. It's mentally you can mess with your physical, and physically you can mess with your mental. It's like a battery, right? It's, it's a quantum loop. Like it's a battery. Like the positive and the negative has to be in balance to even work. To even like, or like a light bulb, the left and the right has to work to even spark the light. So that's just like your body. It's pretty much where they got the idea to even create the light bulb because it's kind of like a reflection of you also. Nature is a reflection of you. The technology is a reflection of you. So like that being said, um, knowing that you come from love mentally, physically, spiritually, like your physical, your heart's like the first organ. Mentally, uh, you were created out of love, even if you didn't even know that person, but for like a day, you were attracted to him. That's a form of love. Um, and just like looking at kids, like how peaceful they are, and like where their heads are at most of the time. A lot of them, you just listen to what they say. They might actually say some shit, even if it sound like baby talk. Like if you was to look it up, it might actually mean something. But like if you can like go within yourself and reflect on those times, because everyone still have that kid like self, and because that's like your soul, right? Your body's not supposed to get old. That's why the mental and the physical plays a part in that, because a lot of the stuff we consume makes us our body deteriorate, but cells can rejuvenate itself depending on your mental and what you're consuming physically. Because then when you're dealing with light, then that deals with your cells, because that's the sixth element, the blood or the atom. Because when you're dealing with, like, say your four elements deals with plasma, then when that happens, now you're going to cellular subdivision. So that's like now in this they've aged like their experiment is to see the positive, negative, and the neutral effect of the variance. So say you're a variant. You want to be in a you want to be a positive variant. So you have to detach mentally. It's like some samurai sensei shit at the end of the day because it's martial arts. Feel me? Like that's how I bring everything back to. It's like martial arts at the end of the day. Um, cause that's what martial arts is about. Um, like manifesting your expression into the physical. So it's like you have to detach from this, from the world. Uh, it's really that's why they say know thyself, because when you know thyself, you know what's of you and what's not of you. That's how you detach from anxiety, because anxiety and everything attached to it is not of you. It was a given perspective to you. So it's like, cause it cloud, yeah, cause when you're given a perspective like that, keeps you in a lower frequency, which is your root and your sacral. But nothing about that frequency is weak. It's just if you're corrupting that energy and the wrong energy, it's like two sides to that too. It's two parallels to that. It's like being in the cosmos, like a dream state. If you're in fear, then everything around you is changing. You're not aware of everything that's going on. You're somewhere that you don't know where to do. Because like when you're in fear, it like shuts you down thinking wise. Right. That's why a lot of people get mad. Like say someone can have a good physical body, but their mental's not right. So like say like a muscle head or something. Their mental's not right because their energy and their root and their sacral isn't in balance, because you're supposed to be in the heart space at all times, not in a hate space, fearful state, or nothing like that. Um, say like if someone scare you, you feel it in your stomach and your heart. Your root and your sacral is attached, just like your solar and your heart is attached. It's like little Geminis or some shit. But like, um, the thing is that chakra, all of your chakras are supposed to be awarenesses. That's why you're supposed to mentally clear them out with your imagination, because it was given to you through imagination. So cheat code for that: when you close your eyes, if you can imagine it deleting, that's kind of like deleting a trauma. It's like dragging it into a trash can. That's how you do it mentally. Then physically, you have to stop consuming things that's tied to fear, and stop consuming things that's not of you. Right. So like say proteins, like say they spike the proteins. So that wasn't the right proteins though. That was animal proteins. It was Your real proteins come from amino acids. Your amino acids are pretty much like antibodies. Your antibodies are red blood cells, right? So the hemoglobin, they spike the proteins for the hemoglobin, and they spike the proteins for the hemoglobin. The hemoglobin is in charge of transporting the proteins to the respiratory system. So using a cholesterol type drug, which only clogs sodium channels, right? So when you're closing the sodium channels, that's closing up your melanin, your plasma, and your blood, pretty much, right? And when you close up your sodium channels, then you're not allowing your antibodies to even fight. So That's what deals with eating the wrong shit also. That's something they knew. They knew of things that produce cancers and stuff like that. It really only does because of cellular production. It's always been dealing with the sun this whole time. It's just the magnetic field's been depleted. So you're feeling a higher rate of the sun, meaning that your cells are duplicating faster, positively or negatively. So, um, a shot. So like that's what the whole shot was about. You feel me? Um, it possessed a T cell, an animal T cell. Then they use tetraoxidin or something called Zetabase. You can find if you look up Zetia. Zetia is the medical word for the energy above Zeta, which is like A through Z in a type of way. But Zeta is, I think, the Greek word, and Zayin is the Hebrew word. The Hebrew word. Zayin means weapon, right? So the weapon that was used, um, it was is a device. It's called a xenobot, which kind of ties down to the compassionate investigation of new drug programs, right? Because they tested it on drugs, and yeah, I barely get views. When I was starting to get views, they shut me down. They be deleting shit. Anyways, yeah, the compassionate investigation of new program was part of it because they were testing devices and also. So look, I'm trying to just say the whole process of it. Cause yeah, alpha, beta, zeta, data got something to do with it too. But but the thing is, they use these words, bro. But they use it like, all right. So metaphysics, in my eyes, like their little studies, that you have to study biology, chemistry, and pathology. So like biology, study of life. Chemistry is like the scientists making alchemy with the drugs. Uh, which is really biochemistry, biology and chemistry together, um, and pathology, which deals with like your nervous system and how your cells interact with things. So like Zetia is, um, they might not have it up the same way, but Zetia is the lipoprotein transfer, lipoprotein transfer, right? Which was a Zetabase. Zetabase is a high cholesterol drug, which is really kind of not really good to be given people. Um, it's not really good to be given people for like medication in my eyes. And tetraoxidin is the same thing. Uh, tetraoxidin was actually being studied uh, in Haiti by people from America that was sent out there to collect information, you know, how they try to set up shop and labs and shit like that. So, one guy saw a zombie, the witness voodoo going on, right? And came back and talked about what they saw. They pretty much threatened him and sent him back, telling him that he has to get whatever that he saw, figure out what it is and get it back here. So, pretty much that's what happened. It was a tetraoxidin is part of a Haiti voodoo ingredient for turning someone into a zombie-like being, like soulless, right? So this is where China comes in play because tetraoxidin is actually found in the pufferfish. And if you could please share this video, cause I need help. Cause I like I already got copyright claim. I mean, how? Like it should be stupid. But look. Alright, so this is where China comes in play because tetraoxidin is actually found in the pufferfish, and it's found in the pufferfish, and the pufferfish is by China. Reason why they can get high productions of it to their lab. Most of them fish a lot anyway, and for some reason, that race of people try to eat it to gain divinity, and usually die out within like a year, which is kind of weird because they know that and still keep doing it. It's weird as hell, but they probably do that because it ties to your tetracovalent bonds, which are your carbon and your hydrogen bonds, your AB bonds, or like your red glucotinas. So it's like, so boom. So they conducted that right. So that's the cholesterol part, the closure sodium channels. So why they have the sodium channels, right? They have something called a xenobot. The Xeno means gift to Zeus. Bot means the same thing as Kron, right? So I got the download of AIM. I just made my little page like last year or this year, right? Because I was getting little downloads random. I'm like, how the hell do I know this shit? Yo, I can't type. Alright, so say Xeno means gift to Zeus, right? I like breaking down words. Shout out to Rashad Jamal. Because bro showed me, he was doing a little video about winter. I was like, this is how they did tell us. If you didn't understand a word and you didn't have a dictionary, then you have to break it down. Syllables, that's how they teach you in school. So, Xeno, right? Let's look up Xenobot first. Because people don't know about Xenobot. There's only two people that told me it was Gravity the News. You can find a little something like that on it. Because my video is a little choppy. Um, Gravity the News or World News Report with James Coughlin. He made a video about Xenobots. Kind of like his a little better because, yeah. Look, Xenobots. Xenobots named after the African clog frog are synthetic life forms. Keyword, synthetic life forms are designed by computers to perform some desired function and built by combining together different biological tissues. Look, I be fucking up reading sometimes. Look, I'm gonna find the information. Whether xenobots are robots or organisms or something else entirely remain a subject of debate among scientists, right? So that ties to the Compassion Investigation Act too, because when you read it, it tells you that they were studying uh, drugs. At the time, it was like weed. The government was assigning weed or cannabis to patients like 1970s, 60s, 80s. And they got caught up with the same shit dealing with cocaine, right? Because remember, all those stuff come from natural things, but they also sell it and distribute it all over the world, and then tax you on it also, just so they can do so. Then, if you get baited into the system, then you're charged. Uh, you're charged. You get a charge and evicted under the jurisdiction, which puts you back in fucking hell. But look, so that's Xenobot, right? The X is Xeno, right? Because that's really a Latin word. So it's a feminine to it and a masculine to it. The masculine version to it is Xeno, which means gift of Zeus. right? Him and his sister supposedly, which was Satan, Zeus. You feel me? Cause hey, Y-E just means the. Zeus in mythology was Satan, pretty much. Alright, so cause they're both the same person. It's just a higher self, lower self of that person, right? Uh, but it's not the real Messiah. Alright, so damn, what the fuck I was about to say? Oh yeah, Zeno is the gift to Zeus. So this is where Xenia, like Zeno, pretty much is like. So pretty much they tried this shit on animals already. You feel me? Uh, just look at war and surveillance. You feel me? And how they say certain animals might be surveillance is because they took the shot. A lot of them are dying because of the heat and they're unnatural. But alright, so Xenia, the influence. I never seen this before. But this is the influence or effect of pollen or endosperm or embryo, resulting in hybrid characteristics in form, color, etc. Alright, so yeah, when you're on my shit, you're gonna learn something, alright? Alright, this is what I was looking for. The Greek word for Xenia, Xenia meant Greek hospitality. Foreigners, outlanders, welcome guests. But at this time, this is when they were making like their empire, right? To take over Prince George. And they so look, because Prince George made a triangle from Eurasia, uh, which is still the Georgias, South Georgia, South America, and North America, right? So look, Xenia is the Greek hospitality. So say the people, the outlanders, they call foreigners, they were foreign to them because they looked different than them. They were divine people, right? So they used to welcome them in just to see who were divine. So like um say regular hospitality or southern hospitality, uh like showing respect, being nice, giving you somewhere to eat, place to shower, home, I don't know, just shit like that, you feel me? Thing is, these people made a law in the town called Xenia, and it was for presented to black people. I mean, it was for black people, really, or anyone who was tapped in, I guess. But in my eyes, it was for black people. And when they used to come to the towns, they would be telling stories like people are doing right now, and like speaking out all types of shit, and telling about the new world, or in their eyes, the new world, but really it was just America, right? So at that time, say we traveled over here because that's what the fuck we do. You know? We explored. You know? So we explored, came over there, but their hospitality was to see if you were divine or not. So they would bring you in. It's kind of like Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. They was bringing them in, gave them somewhere to eat. Boo boo. What else they do? Oh yeah, the feast. The feast was meant to get them drunk, right? Get him drunk and get him speaking about uh, where he comes from, and then whoop de woo, they're sacrificing pretty much after that. They used a lot of Egyptian things like statues and masks and animals, like animal statues. Like they would, make one uh, and put like heads on the couch, like masks on the couch, like different masks representing different shit, and they would pretty much sacrifice them, right? That's like if someone's on YouTube, blows up, everyone's looking at them, like the whole town, the whole community looking at them. They don't sacrifice his ass. Well, that's what they were leading to. Because once they get you in to make you feel like you're okay, boom. That's when all the deals that need to be made, all that extra shit, just for money. But it wasn't even that deep. But the thing is, they learn from people and then pretty much sacrifice them. But back to Zeno. Zeno means give to Zeus, right? Alright, so boom. Bot. What does bot mean? First definition, an autonomous program on the internet or another network that can interact with systems or users. It can interact with systems or users. Say you're the user, right? Uh, when, alright, so boom. So Omi, right? Omi means Ayan. I think in Greek. See that triangle upside down? That means the sun. I'm the only one saying this. The triangle upside down actually means the light that's coming down from the sun, the UV. So when you see that in like ancient shit, the triangle down, like say the light body or the Merkaba or something, or like dealing with chakras. The pyramid down was representing the light from above. Pyramid up representing the energy going up. You're like the X in between a diamond, because the thing is about the pyramids, it was never just a pyramid, a triangle. It was always a diamond, right? Representing above and below, the corners, and the four elements, dealing with the triangle, the trinity, the light, right? Alright, so they're not really showing it how they were at first, but Omi means Ain, right? In Phoenician, that means sees, but does not speak, and therefore represents the altitude of humility, right? That's like dealing with third eye. But Ain, right? Doesn't Ain look like a suffix? So you could put a PL, now you got playing. Then you put an S, you got saying. But I want to show you something real quick before I move on to that. Alright, so you got the Hebrew, Greek. You got the Hebrew, Greek alphabet, because the alphabet ties to the 369. Like I said, the alphabet, that's why your words are powerful, because it's energies. The first language was telepathy. Now that you're spelling and using this, what makes the magics of your word, because it holds energy above. The thing is, it's so above, so below. It holds energy above, and when you speak it, manifests below. Or you can manifest it below and it manifests above, because it's a cycle to your vibration. Just like the 369 was really the cycle of the universe. That's what made Tesla feel like he's about to die and shit, because he fucked up. He's been using this shit against us, and he's been helping the government do so. Then Bill Gates and everyone, all these people that people look up to, they're all a part of this shit, bro. So look at what they're investing and then look at what it's doing. Even blocking the sun is causing people to get sick from the clouds. And I have a whole formula on how. I made a video, it's just horrible. At least I can admit that, 'cause I'm not gonna lie to myself. Alright, I need to find the one with the numbers so it makes more sense. Sorry. Really kind of just start doing shit like this. I kind of have no structure. Really don't be thinking. Alright, so look. Alright, so what was I saying? Fuck. Alright, that's a better one. This one. Alright. Okay, so let's look for a micron, right? Remember, there's no number greater than 9. So the months, the end of the year, or the end of the 9 is the ninth month, or the September, right? So then your months repeat from that. So that being said, December this year is September, okay? And December will be March, okay? And then March will be June, okay? And then June will end up being Virgo, September, okay? And then September would be September. What the fuck? What I just was about to say. Alright, so look, kind of just woke up. Alright, so a micron, right? That means AN. P. Okay, so hold on, do I got a little squiggly thingy? Alright, yeah. Boom. So peep game. This is 3, 6, 9. Yeah, 9. Grand finales is like the 12. But the thing about the Omega and the Sampi, it deals with 3 other energies for that X. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be teaching y'all this shit for real, because again, I just said what Xenia was, but that's part of me not giving a fuck. Alright, so look, 7 plus 0 equals 7, right? So you line that up with Hebrew because Hebrew was just another language, right? So you line the micron up, this right here, line a micron up with A, you get 7. So when you look at 7, what do you get? You get zeta. And what's next to zeta? Zayin, right? What did we say zeta was? Zetia and medical. That's why they named it that, right? Because it's used for the weapon, the gift to Zeus, right? Because they had to transfer it somehow because they're trying to move on to transhumanism. That's why all the chips and the passports in you and all that shit, this is the start of it, right? But at the same time, depopulation had to happen too because they know what the fuck's going on. They're just trying to stop it. But it kind of makes no sense of why they're trying to. Really, they're not trying. Yeah, they're trying to stop it. And they're trying to kill out people so they can have this happen. But the thing is, the only way they can have this happening is if they cloud the whole realm up and keep it clouded. But that's the thing, more people will get sick. So then that's why they push, oh, this is just a virus, this is happening. but it's coming from the fucking clouds or the people they already shot up that's mutating it. The crazy thing is, the shit comes from animal, is making it an uncontrollable mutation is because the T cell that is attached to it under the sun. So when they put the clouds up and had people feeling all weird, it wasn't just the clouds because they've been doing that shit. This the clouds are also getting ionized by the sun, but the thing that's getting ionized is against you, so it might interfere you because it creates something called epoxy dust, which is like glue. It's kind of like cocaine, right? That's probably why they was testing that in the 80s and the 70s too, dealing with the devices and the drugs, like the Class Act and the whatever I was showing on that video at the beginning of this video. Um, that probably ties down to that because that's how cocaine works. Like it gets stuck in your mucus lining, right? And the only way, and if it gets stuck in your mucus lining, then that clears up your airways, right? Mostly in your lymphatic system. That's why most people that be on that shit get softies and all types of shit because it's clogging up your lymphatic system with the mucus. And when that happens, but the thing is with this, when that happens, it causes respiratory problems and allergies because, well, allergic reactions. All right, like this is how they even started up AIDS and all of that because AIDS is really dealing with uh, pathological blood destruction, which is your red blood cells dying out and not being able to reproduce itself like normally. So all of that shit, at the end of the day, is a sexual transmitted disease that they're trying to push on right now. All of them tie down to sexual transmitted diseases because that's all it ever was. That's all it ever was. Reason why you can get rid of it by eating right and having the right mental. Like you can reverse everything that went wrong in your body. It's kind of like how Jesus kind of was in the Bible. Like, bro was fasting, he was on the water, he was sun gazing, and he was grounded. Right? Grounding clears out your lymphatic system and helps the blood flow goes through. Weed is good for is really a cellular reproduction herb. It works like the sun. Reason it comes from Canis Major, right? And they call it cannabis. It works just like the fucking sun. So like say if your energy, this is the thing, if you're mentally not there and you're like in the like in low frequency, like root sacral energies, like fear, anxiety, just being just being a bitch about everything, like shit like that. When the CMEs hit you, it intensifies that energy with already within you. Reason why it's imperative that you're not in the wrong mental state, because when shit goes left, you need to remember how to not go. I mean, how to go without things. Especially, you only get hungry from parasites. So if you stop eating parasites, you pretty much get less hungry. Um, you have more energy. You wouldn't have itis when you smoke weed, or goddamn period when you eat. When you have itis, just think of shit clogging up. Yeah, I don't give a fuck how good it is. Just think of shit clogging up. Because the things you eat are supposed to be electric because your cells are electric. When you're pretty much going against that, you're clogging your cells up. So Say if you had a satellite and you put this big ass coat over it, then your TV is gonna be staticky, right? Because your cells are like, they pick up on frequencies, right? That are attached to your organs, right? The thing that's good about fruit, it produces vinegar that cleans all that shit up. So you can say a lot of fruit can be acidic, but if you eat a lot of fruit, it'll make you alkaline because it's alkaline food, and you have alkaline elements within your body that deals with alkaline gases and shit. So when they're doing other things to go against it, it creates static. But that's why it's imperative to be in a good mood, because when that energy hits, it's randomly, especially if you're not paying attention to when the CMEs are hitting. Like you could feel it in the air, but if you're in a upset mind state, you can be stuck in that mind state and don't know why. You'll be sitting there like, why am I upset? Why am I even thinking? And then you deal with somebody and then blink on their ass. So you can't be in that mindset. It's higher energies and it's only getting higher. To gravitate with it, you have to go with it, not against it. This planet was made off of love, not hate. So all of that's not of you. But that's the thing. There's still a lower side of you, but it's not really a lower self. There's like, say like a superhero has superpowers, but you have to choose what you use it for. There's a time and place for things. You can't just be out here acting crazy, because then that's devilish, right? Just like voodoo, right? Like, really, you're not even supposed to get approved if your heart's not pure. But the thing is, naturally, you wouldn't even have to even do all that extra shit because you're naturally getting approved. Like, you wouldn't have to go to this, that, and the third. Like me, I didn't, I'm not saying everybody don't, but I'm just speaking for me. And that's how I can peep out the cap. Because I didn't try to be like this, bro. It just happened overnight. And a lot of shit wasn't happening overnight. It was happening through my dreams. But I noticed it happened once I removed the fear. And then it happened once I removed my attachment to something outside of me. Because I knew my attachment to something that was outside of me, but it was never really outside of me, it was within me, right? Because that's like me having a kid. I'm connected to him within me, period. People, even around you, friends, family, you're connected to them, period. You feel them when they're away from you. You don't have to go outside of yourself for something that you're connected to. It's just you gotta know yourself. Know thyself. That is the biggest key, especially depending on what age you're even tapping into shit like this at. That's why kids supposed to be on this shit as a kid. So as they get older, develop into more wisdom. When people are older, they're already attached to the worldly things like eternally, like Eternals. Just like Hermes and Eternals, he didn't want to be like that no more. He wanted to experience the human like shit with love and all that emotions. But look, so I got off topic and I might have forgot. So I'm gonna repeat. Zeta, right? Omicron on the chart is 70, but 70 is just a higher interval. So 1 through 9, then it repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just a height. That's the second interview. So when you see like V2 always come around a micron, or like Sarkov. All these new variants always come around this time in fall, right? Or their fall in the Gregorian calendar fall. Because remember, this is the Gregorian calendar. And it's like when you ascend 5D, you end up talking to some, like how Enoch subscribed it, they said a Gregorite, pretty much. Or my eyes, like reptilians. So it's like he confronted him, but he told him, why would I follow something that's not of me? And when that happened, he went to the seventh heaven, right? Dealing with seven, which I say January 1st or March 1st is the alignment. January 1st to my birthday, June 1st. Alright, so let's get it. Oh, dang, Data means 9. Word. I drew something weirdly on my daughter's notebook, and I made it kind of where she could learn it. Because they only teach them about 3 states of matter, not 4. That's why it's 4 states of you. Your body is a state of matter. So look as your body is the solid, liquid, gas. The higher the heat and the light gets, the faster your cells move. So from that solid, this is how the beings of rocks and they're finding living cellular organisms inside. This is how that happens, right? That could actually produce a different type of creature because that rock is most likely an egg, like a dinosaur type egg or some shit. Facts. Because that deals with fifth and sixth period creatures that were once on this realm. But those creatures deal with certain UV heat, certain UV light. Just like there's blue bees. They're called mason bees. They're blue bees, wasps, and hornets. They only come out due to high UV. In 2021, I thought I was tripping. A whole blue bee came right beside me, and I'm fasting. I was smoking weed, but the thing is, when you're mentally right and physically right, I ate fruit for like 9 months straight. So like, when you're physically right, it actually gives you more energy while you're smoking weed. You really don't. You be high, but you don't be as high. You just go into higher thinking, like dead ass. Like that's why some people get good grades, some people don't when they smoke, depending on the mental, physical, or really both. Like if it was really working, then both was right at that time as a kid. Look, so look. All right, so Zeta is 7, Zayin is 7. Zayin means weapon, right? Zayin means weapon. Mu, right, and Nu is the backside of the sun. It's connected. This too, this energy. Oh, cool. But Zayn, getting off topic. I'm gonna just say the backside of the sun, right? Backside of the sun that's being manipulated is Mu and Nu, because all of these numbers are really hertz. You feel me? Because the measurement of time is this time at the top, distance and speed. From the hertz and the degrees is the distance and the speed. And so 7, this is what the big 7's been about too, right? Because when Zayn lines up with Omicron, it's going to be like Alpha, Omega. Which is, and we're in this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, no, 4 elements dealing with 1, which is plasma. Showing 2 parallels, 3 alternates, and 4 states representing the big 9, right? Alright, so, alright. So, said what Zeno was, which is the gift of Zeus, because really my X for this equation is Omi Omi, Zeno, those are aligned. They're aligned to each other because they do everything aligned to the energy cycle. This is how they plot everything. And then numerology ties into messages, right? So they use the language. Alright, I'm just trying to, like, English wasn't always my big class in grade. Like, I paid attention, didn't really like reading that much, but I liked reading when I was a kid. It was just when I got older, I developed someone else's perspective at the end of the day. Yep, sure did. So, because when I started fasting and getting back to self, really happened after I was hurt. And I was crying literally like every day till I said no more. It was damn near from September or August 2020 to April or May. You know, it was like April or May 2021. And that's when I stopped. I weep literally every fucking day. Like, about everything. And it was just everything happened at once. It was just I was attached to it. I had to get rid of it. And didn't know where it was coming from, but that had something to do with the energies rising. For me, the only thing self could actually think of what to do is detach. Then I ascended. Came back, all I wanted was fruit. Just to realize fruit is the key. If you're listening to me right now and your energy's low, getting headaches, throat clogged up, or feeling like you might be sick or getting there, blend you up some strawberries or watermelon. You can get cherries, that's very better. I would mix the cherries with the the watermelon or the strawberries. That's your red for your root. Then you got your 3 mangoes for your sacral. Then you got your pineapple for the solar. Fresh pineapple. Everything gotta be fresh, not no frozen shit. Because it's all different color vinegars with different elements made for your different chakras. To really hydrate your different chakras. The reason why when you drink water, it doesn't fully go to your different chakras, right? I mean, it do, but it don't. So that's how you clean it up. For your green, I would get kiwis, fresh kiwis. If the kiwis look off, some of the grapes been off. Uh, but grapes are really high. It's good for the respiratory, and in my eyes, that is good for your heart. And then the red grapes is good for your root and will help you poop it all out. Cause really you gotta poop and sweat this shit out. All right, so boom. Um, if you don't have kiwis, get spinach, and you can do the vegetables separately, kind of in a way, like spinach and alkaline, or cucumbers for alkaline water, and put some lemon for the solar and the sacral. Right. And then for your throat chakra, you get blueberries. But the blueberries is also good for your respiratory system. As soon as you eat it, you get a breath of oxygen. You know, like how you know how bears stuff their cheeks or whoever, it gives you hella oxygen, right? That's why the inside of it is actually kind of green, just like tomatoes, right? It's good for your chakras. From it matches up by colors. So if you didn't know shit, you could just look at the colors. So like the crown, right? You're dealing with like headaches and shit. Blackberries, cause it loosens up the blood flow. The key is blood flow. Cause when you don't have blood flow, then you have signs of paralysis. You have signs of paralysis when you're coming back from the cosmos. So that's really where that be coming from. But then you can have signs of paralysis due to high cholesterol, and most of the high cholesterol comes from the drugs you take and the consumptions of food and the way you think, and most likely the lack of light, natural light, which is outside. The new energy is the backside of the sun. It's just them because the land is sunk underground. Reason why they're trying to sink more. Because that interferes with the energy of the sun. It dims it, right? So now that the planet's peeping what's going on, being back aligned, like Nibiru is low key helping it, and then really the enemy is low key helping it too, which makes it kind of weird. Because the more clouds they put up, it actually reflects the light back up. So it makes me think if the clouds are actually used for the magnetic field to help repair it, because of the ions that comes off of it from reflection. Because the planet heats up and is pretty much getting frequencies. It's harmonic frequencies though, like music, uh, tuning, like music tuning. And as it does that, it heats up more and gives the energy back up to the sun, right? So now that they're interfering that, it helps CERN gain energy, right? Because CERN is gaining energy from the four elements plus the plasma, right? Because that's how you create portals. But look, Omi, Zeno, Kron, Bat, Omi, Zeno, Kron, Bat. So you go back to the Bat. Bot means an autonomous program on the internet or another network that can interact with systems or users, right? So cron means the same thing. A command line utility is a job scheduler on a Unix-like operating system. Users who set up, maintain software environments use cron to schedule jobs, also known as cron jobs, to run periodically at fixed times. Dealing with 24 hours, 12 months, 360 days. Run periodically at fixed times, dates, or intervals, right? Or intervals. Intervals is for hertz. What is hertz? Hertz, natural hertz, are your delta triangle down x v2, right? 3 now. So look, the intervals during with the 369, just how I showed you. The functions, daemon, just look at the words they fucking use, bro. Daemon to execute schedule commands. Daemon means English is demon, but daemon in Greek is divine one who felt a divine spirit. What is this? Plan 9, Inferno, Unix, and Unix like program C. Program language is C. The program language is C. I've never heard of this shit, but I know the C is really, the C is represented by gamma, and gamma deals with what? Gamma waves. When you're in the cosmos state, you're in the gamma wave state. Like when you wake up, this is crazy. So C is a general purpose computer program language. It was created in the 1970s by Dennis Ritchie and remains very widely used and influential. By design, C's features cleanly reflect the capability of the targeted CPUs. It has found lasting use in operating systems, device drivers, protocol stacks, though decreasingly for application software. C is commonly used on a computer architecture that range from the largest supercomputers to the smallest microcontrollers and embedded systems. Sounds like the same shit we're talking about. The successor to the programming language B, C was originally developed at Bell's Lab by Ritchie between 1972 and 1973 to construct utilities running on a Unix. It was applied to re-implementing the kernel of Unix operating systems. During the 1980s, C gradually gained popularity. It has become the most widely used program languages, with C compilers available for practically all modern computer architectures. and operating systems. C has been standardized by ANSI since 1989, and the International Organization for Standardism, ISO. I feel like ISO is an important thing. What is documented? Imperative procedural language supporting structured programming, lexical variable scope, and recursion with a static type system. It was designed to be compiled to provide low-level access to memory, and language constructs that map efficiently to machine instructions with all minimal runtime support. Despite its low-level capabilities, the language was designed to encourage cross-platform programming. A standard compliant C program written with the portability in mind can be compiled for a wide variety of computer platforms and operating systems with few changes to its source code. All the way to 2018, where they made the C18, the C19, C20. Alright, so Alan Snyder. Unix was one of the first operating systems. I never read this before. Kernel implemented in language other than assembly. Earlier instances include the Multic system and master control program for the Bureau's B5000, which was written in Algo in 1961. And around 1977, Ritchie and Stephen C. Johnson made further changes to the language to facilitate portability of the Unix operating system. Johnson's portable C compiler served as the basis for several implementations of C on the new platform. In 1978, Brian Kenner, hold on, bro. Stephen C. Johnson. Did you make Johnson and Johnson, sir? Did you make Johnson and Johnson? Oh, Stevens Curtis Johnson, known as Steve Johnson, is a computer scientist who worked at Bell Labs and AT&T for nearly 20 years. He is best known for Yacc Lint Spell and the Portable C compiler, which contributed to the spread of Unix in C. He also cron and bot. He has also contributed to the fields as this verse as computer music, psychometrics, and VLSI design. So bruh dealt with psychology or pathology for sure. Or he was working with someone else for pathology. Because you're a computer scientist, my guy. Talking about I ain't had no fucking computers then, yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, just read along with me. In 2002, he moved to Boston to work at MathWorks, where he helped maintain the front end of MATLAB programming language, for which he built a lint product called NLint. He had met MathWorks founder Cleve Moeller while working at Silicon Valley startup, developed a long-distance consulting relationship with him in the 1990s. Cleve Moeller, who are you? So you were in Mexico doing some geology type shit too. Hmm. Oh fuck. Intel Hypercube. Intel Hypercube. So you were getting the gas for the jets to release. Because jets are the only thing that can release that in a higher state of matter, unless you're burning it from below to become clouds. Fucking dickheads. Tired of y'all people messing with my air. Excuse me. But you're not the blood of air to even be messing with the blood of air. That's what makes it fucking wrong. Alright, Unix is a family of multitasking, multi-user computer operating system that derives from the original AT&T Unix, meaning the server is AT&T. AT&T runs everything in the end of the day, and everything else is just a branch from it. Initially intended for use inside a Bell system, AT&T licensed Unix to outside parties in the late 1970s. Because who do you have to work with to even get that type of um, technology? The ones who were developing it, right? That's like if I develop something new, everyone will have to come to me to even develop something like it, right? Unless they figure out the recipe. And what are they using this device for? Memory. Because what are they looking for? The God's in. But how do oneself find itself within itself? It's God-like self. within itself. So it had to go within you and view you from the outside. I don't even know why I started this video. It's 11:11 on the East Coast. Excuse me again. Hold on. Gamma programming. I feel like that's what the C is for. Gamma's reaction to the subject-oriented language is a reaction to the object-oriented languages before it. The original language is telepathy. Telepathy is like how your telephone receives a frequency and comes in on the other line with a text message or a phone call. It's just like how the Nagas is connecting to the niggas through electrons. That's why they call it negative. Because the Nagas send off energy just like how we do when we ground and speak and think, right? So they sending off energy here through gamma waves, right? Nature, anything that's of nature, including you, is picking up on, depending on where, if your body is aligned, which is mentally, physically, with the light. Because if it's not aligned with the light, then you have physical problems or you have mental problems, right? And that's when the shadow work comes in, because you have to break from what's crazy and what's not crazy to even see what it is. But if you're tripping, then you're just tripping. But most likely, you're not. Alright, so gamma's reaction to the object-oriented language used before. Gamma is intended as a step towards ease and comfort as an object-oriented programming. Gamma coding is used in application where the largest encoded value is not known ahead of time, or to compress data in which small values are much more frequent than a large value. Gamma coding is a building block in the alias delta code. Alright, we getting somewhere because I know what the fuck this means. Alright, so the largest encoded value that's on this planet, the oldest thing with the code is your DNA. But look how they name something called alias delta code. Alias delta. Delta, remember, is the sun, or the higher UV, the ultraviolet light from the sun, which always been there. It's just the down magnetic field's depleted. So you should be feeling that unless the clouds are up. But you're always gonna feel the CME regardless. Alright, so yeah, alias delta The fuck does that mean? Alias Delta Code. That's a symbol by itself right there. Um, and I think that's for Epsilon. Yo, Alias Delta Code is a universal code encoding the positive integrity developed by Peter Ilias.